everyone, it's Emily here, and today I'm talking about something that's not books. So I have other interests other than books. Shocker, I know. And as a lot of you might know, one of my really big passions is theater, particularly musical theater. And I want to share with you the musical soundtrack I am currently obsessed with. And that is Hamilton. So, Hamilton is a musical that when I describe it to you, you're gonna think that doesn't make any sense. That would be terrible. But it somehow works. Hamilton is a hip-hop musical about the American founding father, Alexander Hamilton. I'm gonna give you a moment to kind of absorb that information. Yeah. And I had kind of been hearing about Hamilton here and there on the internet. I didn't really know much about it, other than I saw pictures on occasion of, like, a black guy playing Thomas Jefferson, and I'm being like, huh, that's interesting. Cool. Hamilton first premiered off-Broadway February of this year, and then in August it went actually to Broadway. And a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I'm not really entirely sure, but the cast recording was released. And ever since then, I have just been hearing all of these people raving about this show. Like, everyone is talking about it. Hamilton this, Hamilton that. And so I was finally like, okay, let me listen to this. Now, when I listen to musical soundtracks, I like to really listen to them, and so usually I do that when I'm driving around in my car, since I feel like I live in my car sometimes, and so I thought I'd listen to it on the way to and from work. Now, this soundtrack, to and from work, took me about 2 days to listen to all the way through, and I have about a half-hour drive to work, so this was like 2.5 hours, maybe like 2 hours-ish worth of listening. And holy cow, it's freaking amazing. Like, again, you wouldn't think that a hip-hop musical about the Revolutionary War would make much sense, but it totally works. Hamilton is written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now, he is the man who wrote the musical In the Heights, which is one I actually personally haven't seen, but it's another hip-hop musical that was a really big hit on Broadway, but it made a little bit more sense because, you know, it was in the Heights. It was about urban city living. But about 6 years ago, he was on vacation from In the Heights, and at the airport, he decided to pick up a 700-page biography about Alexander Hamilton. And about a couple chapters in, he thought, this would be a really awesome musical. Why hasn't anybody made a musical about this guy? And I don't really know what kind of a person randomly picks up a 700-page biography about Alexander Hamilton while on vacation and then immediately thinks musical. But I have a feeling he and I would get along very well. And so I was doing some research, looking it up on Wikipedia, watching interviews and stuff like that, and this guy is really, really fascinating. Lin-Manuel Miranda, he is actually the son of Puerto Rican immigrants, and that was part of why he really connected to Alexander Hamilton's story, because Alexander Hamilton apparently was a 17-year-old orphan who grew up in the Caribbean and then sailed to America when he was 17 years old and worked his way up. So basically, he was like the ultimate immigrant, and Miranda said hip-hop was instantly the first thing that came to his mind for writing this musical, because hip-hop, or at least really good hip-hop, ultimately is about starting from the bottom and working your way up and getting yourself out of poverty, getting yourself out of the station that you're in. Now, I personally don't know a whole lot about hip-hop. I mean, I know some top 40 stuff, but beyond that, my knowledge of the hip-hop world is very limited. But I did grow up on the south side of Chicago. While it's not my personal favorite genre of music, I also understand that it's a really big part of culture, and that what's there on the surface that we see isn't the entire story. And so I do have a sort of appreciation for hip-hop and rap. And in the musical, he doesn't only just do hip-hop and rap. I mean, those are the biggest genres that are prevalent in this show, but he also has like some British pop influences, some Broadway influences, and all that. So it's really kind of a mixed playlist of all these different genres mashed into one big musical. And it's really well done. Like, when I was doing my research and just like learning more about this show, while I, as a Broadway buff, I picked up a lot of the Easter eggs about classic Broadway that I really, really appreciated. People who know hip-hop, they saw tons of little Easter eggs and throwbacks to classic artists, classic songs, and I thought that was just like really, really cool because he was really honoring the culture of hip-hop and of rap. And it's really, really fascinating to learn and to listen to, and it's just so fantastic. And this, I just think so many people would really love this musical. Like, I want to see it so badly because I was listening to it and then I had to like kind of read the storylines so I could follow the soundtrack a little bit better and understand it a bit better. But now I want to actually see it on stage. Like, I want to see these people in Revolutionary War gear rapping and dancing and all of this stuff because I think it would just be so much fun and be so interesting. But it's also a really, really diverse cast. Manuel really said that he wanted to tell the story about the beginnings of America with what America looks like today, which is why you see him, a Puerto Rican, he plays Alexander Hamilton. You see, black guys playing Thomas Jefferson, and also Thomas Jefferson, I think, is one of the antagonists of the story, which is just a really fun, interesting twist. But then also you see, like, women playing Revolutionary War fighters. And it's just this, like, really diverse mix of people telling this story. And so, yeah, basically, I'm obsessed with Hamilton. Like, I listened to the soundtrack for 2 days, and then once it ended, I was like, again, and I hit repeat, and I've been listening to it ever since. It's freaking amazing. So basically, the moral of the story is, anybody want to send me to New York so I can go watch it? Because that would be awesome. And that's all for today, and I'll see you later. Bye. And also, like, and there's just different things of how, like, the cabinet debates are epic rap battles. I mean, I didn't know I needed an epic rap battle between Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson in my life. But then I heard it, and I was like, how have I lived without hearing this? This is amazing.